Hello students, reading from Centum Academy. In this video we are going to talk about how to find the trigonometric ratios for supplementary and complementary angles. Now as you can see on your screen, I have already shared a table with you which talks about the supplementary and complementary angles to theta, where this theta can belong to any quadrant. As you can see, sine of minus theta is minus sine theta, cos of minus theta is cos theta, tan of minus theta is minus tan theta. And we have also shared with you what is the value when you want to find sine 90 minus theta, it becomes cos theta. Let's say you want to find cos 90 minus theta, it becomes sine theta. So as you can see, this table is quite exhaustive, but it is not limited. We can have further 360 plus theta, 450 plus theta, 450 minus theta, 540 plus theta, 540 minus theta. Now it's really impossible for anybody to remember this table. So in this video I am going to discuss the trick to remember this chart. Let's say you want to find the trigonometric ratio for any angle which looks like n into 90 degree plus minus theta. Okay. Now we are finding the trigonometric ratio for such angle. We need to take into account the pattern that we see over here. So when there is an odd multiple of 90, sine becomes cos. Right, cosec becomes sec, cos becomes sine, sec becomes cosec, tan becomes cot, and cot becomes tan. In other words, the trigonometric ratio becomes its complementary trigonometric ratio. Okay. So the rule here is that first we need to see what is your n. If n is odd, if n is an odd number, what we'll do, we'll convert this trigonometric ratio into its complementary trigonometric ratio, which I am representing here as TR with a superscript of C, and here the angle theta just will be taken care here, right? So you just have to write the trigonometric ratio for this angle theta which you are given over here. Now obviously there will be a sign associated with this. Now as you can see, there are some positive signs somewhere, some negative signs are somewhere else. So what will happen is that we need to figure out in which quadrant this particular angle belongs. So which quadrant this particular angle belongs, and accordingly we will assign a sign here, SIGN. Now what will be this sign depends upon the quadrant. So as we have already discussed in our previous video about the sign scheme. Now a student may argue that since we do not know theta, it's very difficult for us to, or very difficult for the student to establish the quadrant in which that angle will fall. So for the sake of convenience, assume your theta to be somewhere between 0 to 90 degree. Right? If you just assume it to be 0 to 90 degree and take the quadrant according to this assumption, this formula will accordingly work fine. Right? Let me complete this, then I'll give you an example. Now if n is even, right, we follow the same concept. Sine is determined by the quadrant and we take the same trigonometric ratio for theta. So note the difference here. Here you take the complementary of this trigonometric ratio and here you take the same trigonometric ratio. Right? For example, if the question is find tan of 270 degree minus theta. So without looking at this table, I'll apply this particular algorithm which I have discussed here. Now 270 is 3 into 90 degree minus theta. Now 3 being an odd number, so see if n is an odd number, we need to take the trigonometric ratios complementary. So basically trigonometric ratios complementary for tan will be cot. Cot of what? Cot of theta. And it will have a sign in front of it. Now the sign will be determined by in which quadrant 270 minus theta falls. So as I have discussed here, if you assume your theta to be between 0 to 90, 270 minus theta falls in the third quadrant. So where tan is positive and hence you will have positive cot theta as your answer. So as you can see on your screen, tan 270 minus theta here is cot theta. Okay. Now even if this particular theta does not fall between 0 to 90, this identity will hold true for any angle theta. Now let's say if your theta was between 90 to 180, right? That means your theta is such that your theta is greater than 90 degrees. So what will happen? This you will find tan of some angle which will go into the second quadrant, isn't it? Where tan is negative. Accordingly, cot theta will also be negative because cot of an angle in the second quadrant is negative. So don't worry about the sign, just assume that theta is between 0 to 90 degree. All the sign will accordingly fall in line. Okay. Let's take another case. Let's say cos of 360 degree minus theta. Now 360 degree is 4 times 90 degree. Hence, we will stick with the same trigonometric ratio cos because n here is even. Please follow this case, n here is even. So this will become cos theta itself, right? And this will be preceded by a sign depending upon in which quadrant 360 degree minus theta lies, which is definitely in fourth quadrant. And cos there is positive, so answer will be plus cos theta. So as you can see, for 360 degree minus theta, cos 360 degree minus theta is cos theta. Right. Hope it makes sense to you. Thank you so much for watching.